Chapter 25 Lunch Date. Earl just sat gazing out into the backyard, thinking and staring, also hesitating to move from his spot. Temperatures were not especially unseasonably warm that year, but they were also not remarkably frigid either. He had to consider the weather on that day of his winter break, since he was leaving the house in a short while. Earl favored cold temperatures over hot ones ever since he first started puberty around 13 or 14 years old, because he didn't much enjoy the smell of natural musk. When it was hot outside, his deodorant tended to wear off much quicker, and Wah would send him upstairs to change his shirt, saying, "With your new height and new muscles comes physical strength and body odor." Then she would send him on his way to his room for a clean shirt. His bedroom was at the back of the building, and he had a clear view of the pecan tree, which he thought to have leaves that were flawless with feminine sense of sophistication. There were pecan trees all over Pecan Grove, but this tree was special to Erland. The green husks of the unripe pecans were what little Erland used to call the fur coats of the pecans. He found himself often mesmerized by the tree's presence, its massive size and dominance in the yard. He frequently felt wiser just sitting under the tree and studying its parts. Bobby hung a tire swing from the old pecan tree for Robbie when she turned 3 years old. Earl liked to swing in the tree during summer, mild drizzly rainfalls, or windy evenings. He sat on this day in his bedroom window, staring at the tree, wondering how cold or warm it would feel outside. If you stare long enough at the old pecan tree and catch it at just the right moment, you could see a pecan fall from the tree and hit the ground. Just then, one of those keenly timed moments. Ordinarily, this would take Earl's breath away, but not today. He was not looking for the fascinations of nature to excite him at that moment. His anticipation of the day was his lunch date with Lillian. It had been over a week since Earl called Lillian and let her know he would be coming to Mississippi to spend time with Gina. He asked Lillian if he could dine with her to continue the conversation where they left off after the funeral. Earl knew once winter break ended, his time would be consumed with school and studying and all. The only thing on his mind was the conversation he would be having with his birth mother. He managed to peel himself from his desk chair, formerly known as one of the dining room chairs. Throwing on a pair of stonewashed jeans and a Mickey Mouse sweatshirt with a pair of topsiders was the most dressed up he allowed himself to get. His mood was not somber, but it was close. He was still trying to get used to the newness of all the strange happenings in his life. Earl stepped into the bathroom to dab some gray flannel cologne on his shirt because that's what Gina liked. He puts it on his shirt since she always tiptoes to reach that high to rest her head during long hugs. The young man altered his mood for a second to smile at the very thought of Gina. Catching a glimpse of himself in the mirror, Earl noticed his hair lacked vim. He squirted a foamy handful of mousse out, ran it through his hair, and tousled the heavy bang in the front until ringlets appeared one by one. Earl stepped outside onto the back patio to test the air temperature. He felt compelled to grab up several pecans and sort through them, checking their weights for hollowness or fullness. While bagging the pecans, Earl thought about sharing some with his birth mother. He made a sweet little care package by tying off the bag with some gift wrap ribbon his mom had in the kitchen junk drawer. With bag in hand, Earl placed a note for Wah and Bobby on the dining room table and left the house. He stopped off at the florist in town before he started his journey. Earl picked up 2 bouquets of flowers, 6 white roses for his girlfriend, and 6 peach ones for his birth mother. Maybe it was spite from Bryn's funeral outfit, or maybe it was an excuse to buy peach flowers that made him think of his sister, who he didn't know was his sister, who loved the color peach. He knew Lillian would be happy with whatever he brought. Somehow he sensed that she loved him. This made him so much more disturbed by why she would give him away. Hey, I'm a little late because I brought Gina her bouquet before I came, so they wouldn't sit in the car too long. Here, these are for you. Lil pulled the bouquet to her face and smelled the flowers. Oh, son, thank you for thinking of me. Or were you thinking of Bryn? Lillian smiled and winked to let him know she caught on to the color of the roses, and it didn't bother her. Earl then handed Lillian the bag of pecans tied with a bow. He said, "There are some pecans in here. I hope you like pecans. They're my favorite. We have so many this year. I just thought I would share them with you." Lillian, mouth wide open and eyes pooling with tears, was in awe. "You thought of me and brought pecans?" Earl exclaimed. "It's not that big a deal, lady. Geesh, you have to make everything all weird and stuff." "I love pecans. It means more than you know that you thought to bring pecans to share with me. Pecans, of all things." "Well, fill me in later about your special attachment to pecans. Let's go in and get a seat." The hostess at the restaurant seated them at the table near a fireplace. It was warmer than Earl would have liked, but he got used to it. "Was Gina okay with you spending a portion of her visit time with your old birth mom?" "Of course. She wants me to get to know you and have all my questions answered about the last 17 years, Earl emphasized. "Yeah, she's an agreeable sort. Just don't piss her off. She does have a rough edge, too." "Rough edge? Gina?" "I don't think so. You've got the wrong girl." "All right, go ahead and piss her off. But don't say I didn't warn you." "Wait, you're serious, aren't you? Spill the beans. What do you know about my girlfriend?" "She and Shari got into it once. Brian was her 8th grade crush. Shari was the sister's best friend. Shari decided she liked Brian, and Shari flaunted the relationship. That's how Shari and Bryn fell out. Gina and Bryn commiserated together and really developed a true bond, an amazing friendship. But Gina kicked Shari's ass on our ranch, right in front of the barn. Toonie and Pancake witnessed the whole thing." "Oh my goodness. All I heard was Brian was Gina's 8th grade crush." "No, Earl. They didn't fight over Brian, specifically. It was Shari's attitude that actually caused the problem for Gina. Gina is mostly passive. Shari is just a little instigator who, by the way, can't hold her own in a fist fight with your sweet innocent bruiser, Gina." Earl chuckled and added, "An instigator who is carrying your grandchild. Word to the wise, Don't screw up with this next generation. Let it be what it is. How did you get so wise, Earl? Because you didn't rear me. I had sensible parents, and they were empathetic too. I believe that's something you could use a little work on. And that's a fair assessment. The waitress came by to take their orders. Mother and son ordered the same meal, Hawaiian chicken with a loaded baked potato. Each asked for no sour cream on the loaded baked potato. Just to be unique and set himself apart from his mom, Earl asked if he could get extra chives on the side. I see you might be the kid to prove nature and nurture to each be correct, Lillian added in observance of their lunch orders and in delayed response to his comment about Bobby's and Wa's superb parenting skills. Earl couldn't help but to react to her comment with a smile. Last time we spoke, at your home on the day we buried Bryn, you referred to Bryn as your prettiest child. You said I was your favorite. Are these the reasons you and Nancy have such a strained relationship? No, not at all. She's so beautiful, and I truly adore and admire her tremendously. She's just not as strong-minded as you and Bryn. I believe if I am too loving with her, she'll be too weak. She gets on well, but she tends to be emotional and a tad dramatic by design. If I had coddled her, she would be a wreck, for sure. I'd prefer her to be angry with me than to be so fragile that she's taken advantage of and made a fool of in the world. Whoa. So there's an actual method to your madness, huh? If you call it that, Lil said unapologetically with a small shoulder shrug. Yeah, I do call it that. You thought you could keep Bryn from being a lesbian by putting pink on her. If she was one, the pink thing would not work. You know that, right? I'm a better parent than you think. Callie, the waitress, walked up balancing a tray carrying 2 full lunch plates, a saucer of chives, and a wooden chopping block of bread and butter. The plates are super hot. Is there anything else I can get for you? Lillian quickly chimed in. Yes. Could I please have an additional slice of pineapple for my chicken? Callie said, Of course, ma'am. And would you like something, sir? Earl swole up inside with pissed-offedness. He really wanted an extra pineapple slice for his chicken, but dared not ask. If he were to ask for one, he may seem like he is copying Lillian's lead or admitting how much nature proved to be the winner over nurture. Erlen sucked it up and responded to Callie with, No thank you, ma'am. Lillian inquired, Are you sure you don't want something else? Earl tilted his head, squinted his eyes, furrowed his brow at Lillian, and he directed his answer to Callie. Again, no thank you. Earl reignited the conversation. What about me? You saw me on the day of the funeral for the first time in almost 2 decades. You didn't look surprised to see me. You didn't grab me like you hadn't seen me. Heck, you acted like it was just any old other day of seeing Erland. Slow to reply, Lil seemed to study her thoughts for a second. It was as if she pondered whether her child could actually handle what she wanted to say to him. And then, like it was nothing coming from her lips, I had seen you, Earl. I've always seen you. Not up close, but I didn't miss much. Earl sat quietly and couldn't find the words to respond. He tried hard to think of when she was around him. No recollection of this woman came to his mind. He slurped the bottom of his soda, leaving just ice in the glass, making that disturbing sound it makes when you slurp through a straw at the bottom of your drink. He flung his head around in hopes to make eye contact with the waitress, wishing she saw that he needed a refill. Lil smirked and pulled out of her purse one of those envelopes from the 1 hour photo developing place. It was loaded with pictures of Earl. He was tiny. He was middle-sized. He was the age he is now. Callie came back and placed a saucer on the table with one pineapple slice on it in front of Lillian, and she put a full glass of soda to replace Earl's empty glass onto the table in front of him. "Is everything okay so far?" Callie questioned. Both Lillian and Earl told her things were great. The waitress barely walked away for 2 seconds, and Earl asked Lillian, "Where and how did you get these pictures of me?" Lil smiled at her son, slid the pineapple slice over to him with one eyebrow slyly raised, and said, "I told you, I didn't miss much."